Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, we've got Ben Kelly from Horwich Hypnotherapy.
That's me.
How do you get into hypnotherapy?
Well, firstly, you have to be born into the bloodline.
Is that how it starts?
Yeah, and then you get the letter from Hogwarts, and then you're just off from there. No.
How did it start?
It started when I was working my way through my own mental health journey.
Right.
And then...
How long ago was that, Ben?
Well, for the last 40 years, to be honest. Yeah, but I'd say in the last 10 years, I really started getting myself sorted out. Slowly but surely, yeah. And I found going into deep meditations to be really beneficial to shifting.
How do you get to that state?
Oof. So, well, the first time I ever went into that state, I was in Kashmir, North India, and I was with a holy man, a Sufi man, and he put me in a trance. And he just did it by sort of staring at me. I'm not even kidding, right? Yeah, just staring at me and waving a stick. He said some things, but I didn't understand what he was saying. And then I just felt myself go. And that was like the weirdest thing. I was really skeptical about things. I'd seen it happen to another guy and I thought, whatever. But then I felt myself go. And it always left this little fascination, yeah? Just literally, I was mesmerised by the whole idea of it.
Were you there? What were you there for initially in India? Were you just travelling? Were you searching for something?
Yeah, I was searching for something. I didn't really know what it was. I was searching for maybe experience. Mm-hmm. I think I just wanted to change. I wanted to be different. Mm-hmm. I had this notion that maybe like a romantic notion, off to India to find yourself.
Yeah.
Didn't really work. Well, I found that I was still me.
Yeah.
You get all the way around the world to find that you brought yourself with you, and then you have to look inside instead of outside.
Interesting that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That people, grass is greener on the other side, they go off travelling, but really, you can never escape yourself.
Not for long.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to wake back up to yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a useful perspective to know that you got that far, to then go, oh, right, that's not how to do it. It's not only going to be changing the environment, it's going to have to be changing what's going on. And so anyway, that experience, being out there, I was teaching out there, and then we were going and meeting holy men and doing all like the holy route through things. It was pretty cool.
Like what? Tell me a bit more about that then. Well, so what is Sufi? What's a Sufi?
Ooh, okay. So that's
because you live and breathe this, like it's like you're saying stuff and I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
It's jargon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So Sufism is a sect of Islam.
Right. Okay.
So they're like the Islamic mystics. I think that's a gentle way to put it.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at sort of the direct experience. Mm. And that's more where I was at with things. So I was learning other ways, sitting and learning the theory, but this was more about the practice of it.
Right, okay.
And very, very interesting, very intense at times. These are the guys that if you go to Turkey, they swirl, the whirling dervishes.
No, mate, no.
Okay. So one of the things that they do is they spin on the spot, just around and around very, very fast. And they go into trance in that way.
Just spinning?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're Googling this afterwards.
Oh, mate.
It's not nuts, it's very controlled.
Right.
But yeah, they just spin.
And what's that actually doing when they're spinning?
It's putting them into basically a trance state. It's shifting how their brain's functioning at that point.
Right.
And then during that, they can have moments of ecstasy, of real bliss, of connection. Mm. I would just fall over me.
Yeah.
But it was cool to go and meet people studying like that, people that had dedicated their whole lives to a holy path.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just, the whole going into that trance thing was always just, well, it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of like weird. Don't mean to, but you know.
Yeah.
And then to answer your question simply, you go and study. You go and book a course, go away for the weekends or online, or and then you read every book. And over time, because it's just language. That's all it is. It's asking you to direct your focus in a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's just learning how to ask, learning how to guide you into that place.
What's the sort of most profound thing when you were there? Was that the most profound thing?
That was probably... When I was in Kathmandu was completely shut down by political riots for, I don't know, the last 2 or 3 weeks that we were there. And so the whole place, all the shops were shut. There was one bus a day that was allowed to still travel to get tourists out of the place. Everything was just closed down. The rioters closed all the streets. And this one night, I was outside my little guest house that I'd been living in for a few months. And no word of a lie, all these guys in just like loincloths, all just running up the street with flaming torches. And they just all ran past me. That was like one of the trippiest things. It was some sort of protest, it was some way of protesting, some tradition, I don't know. But that was a little bit bizarre. But profound, mystically, yeah, I'd say that day and being put in those trances, that was, well, that kind of pried my head open a little bit, because there's this whole experience that now I've gone near that I can't describe properly. Yeah. It was realer than real. Yeah, it was the realest of things. And yeah, and then there was a separation between what I understood and what I'd been through. And nothing that I'd read or learnt really described what had just happened.
Would you say that same experience you had is where you go if you take like mushrooms or ayahuasca or what's it? Did you have that same thing without any plant medicine?
Yeah. Basically a realer than real experience.
What Jimi Hendrix describes as "are you experienced?" He means experience.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was almost a bit of like a Dante's Inferno.
Right.
And it could have lasted for days. It didn't. But as I'm doing my work now with clients, I see these things like time dilation. So we could be working, so where time speeds up or slows down. Like at school, you used to experience a lot of time dilation. Yeah. Well, we could have been working together for an hour and it could feel like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You could have been in your head for 5 minutes and it could have felt like hours. And when I was having that experience, it felt like, I couldn't tell you, hours, even days. And it was, well, the guy that I'd seen him first going on his little journey, he'd had his eyes closed maybe 10, 15 minutes. But he was saying about he felt like he was on top of mountains and he was flying around. And honestly, I thought it was nonsense. I'm sat there almost embarrassed for the guy. Like he's playing up to it. Like you'd think, if you saw a stage hypnotist and you saw someone forgetting their name or anything like that, you'd think, all right, yeah, you set that up, didn't you? And I felt exactly the same. And then, my head went and I had a very sort of psychedelic experience.
What did you see in that moment?
It was like, this sounds so ridiculous to say, but it's like a big fiery tunnel that I sort of floated down.
This was saying about the Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. It was like a big tunnel and I just felt like I was going through hell.
Were you scared?
No, I was good.
Was you?
yeah, it was the weirdest thing, right? It's like I was absolutely fine. I didn't feel detached from it. I felt there. I just felt all right. And everything about it was contradictory to anything you'd think, yeah? Anything that you'd expect. And so it just left me with this hunger for understanding what the hell had just happened. And that and then doing more work on myself and adding those trances back in.
How do you get to that trance state?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So we'd use music, like drumming beats or...
Like a tribal...
Yeah, that's really effective.
Why is that so effective, Ben?
Because of the beat itself. So beats change. We sync up with beats, yeah? It's why people love dance music.
Yeah.
You know, because that beat turns up and you go to that point. Well, certain music changes how fast your brain's running. You have brain frequencies.
Yeah.
And so that can change through it. Then it's the predictability and the monotony of just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
The speed and everything, it all changes it. But it can also be repetition of like mantras, words, rocking. That works a lot. And then one
rocking,
like, so you see all the monks literally rocking.
Yeah.
All the monks, whilst they're saying their prayers or they're counting their beads and they're rocking away.
What does that do?
It changes the brain state again. And it puts you in... You know when you've got a problem and you go for a walk?
Yeah.
And it's sort of easier to sort out your problem, yeah?
Because you're moving.
And because you're utilising certain parts of your brain. You're giving them like a really simple job to do. Yeah? So then they're busy doing that. And another part of you can then be free to do something else.
Yeah.
And all we're talking about, everything is just about where your focus is. Yeah?
Yeah.
And how channeled your focus is. So we give out parts of us a simple task. You know, it could be that spinning, which by the time it's learned so much, you know, it's like a muscle memory sort of thing. It could be rocking. But another one, and you've probably seen stuff around this a lot, it's quite fashionable, is breath work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we change...
Just before we carry on, can you just let everybody know what you're qualified in? Because I feel like I've just skipped forward just to give people a bit of a sort of...
Yes. So I'm a qualified hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
I do NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Eyes open or eyes closed is the main difference.
Yeah.
I do eye movement therapy. I'm a mindfulness and meditation teacher. I'm not a breathwork teacher. I'll discuss breathwork. I'm qualified and experienced in guiding people through watching their breathing. But the sort of breathwork I was doing, that's more sort of your yoga stuff. I'm not qualified in that yet. We'll get there, yeah.
Okay.
So this is then where I've taken the stuff that I've been using and then starting to qualify in that so that then I can deliver that back to people.
Yeah. And
so your breathing, it changes your mental state and it changes your physical state.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Now, you're a system, aren't you?
Yeah.
Brain and body. If body's not happy, brain's going to struggle to be all right. If brain's not happy, body's going to know about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So even with your breathing, you can start to change your whole physical state. You can slow it down, you can calm it down, you can energize it, you can stress it out.
Yeah.
Anxiety is basically doing that, isn't it? So we're just doing the opposite.
When you saw breathwork coming out and, like you said, nice way of putting it, fashionably, what did you think? Were you thinking, oh shit, there's going to be a lot of people jumping on this making money, or we're like, great, breathing's getting into the mainstream?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Right, okay.
But do you remember plumbers back in the day? There weren't enough plumbers, and then all of a sudden
yeah.
everyone went to study.
Yeah.
But things just find a balance, you know, the pendulum swings too far.
Yeah.
And it finds some equilibrium, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now we've got the right number of plumbers.
Yeah.
Be the same with breathwork people. The only thing is, obviously, it can be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, the holotropic, I've done the holotropic breathing, and, you know, it's brought up trauma.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're not got the right frame of mind, how to deal with that and how to, you know, talk that over with yourself.
Absolutely.
Dangerous, yeah.
And if you're not being facilitated appropriately, these things shouldn't be able to be learnt in a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, but I'm also all for going with somebody that's got a lot of their own experience, but then proper teaching experience.
Yeah.
Supervised teaching experience. But when it's used properly, as you can see, it can release things that we've held on to. You're changing your brain state, but also you're shifting your body. If you've got trauma, then you're holding that trauma in your body the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, it can't let go of it until it's safe. You know, often these ways of breathing will shift our body into a deep sense of safety. This is where I like mindfulness as well, to start to get into ourselves, start to learn the capacity around sitting with discomfort.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because when we don't have capacity to sit with discomfort...
Yeah, feel it to...
Yeah? And otherwise we have to kill it, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I've had an experience recently with putting my dog to sleep. And this time around I sat with it, where previously I'd gone to the gym or I'd try and, you know, do something to keep my mind out of it. But this time, for 2 days, I cried, I screamed, and just like sat in that pain, that grief. I'm able to talk about it now without it triggering me.
And
which is massive.
That's because you've passed through it, you've processed it.
Yeah.
The more we sit with it as well, the more opportunity we have to notice other things. So we can be in that pain, we can be hurting, and we can be grateful, you know, that we had that dog.
Yeah.
And it's only when we can look at it and move through it, can we then, is it safe to bring up the positive things that still exist? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, because if you can't go near it because of the pain, then the pain's going to eke through the happy stuff, isn't it? So you've reconciled it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice way of putting that, mate. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's true, isn't it, when you think of it like that?
Yeah.
It gives you back the full experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is in hypnosis, in trance, in whatever, right? This is all we're ever trying to do. Get the brain to reconcile with trauma, right?
Yeah.
The understanding, the most current and logical understandings of trauma is basically that the body got stuck in its freeze state. Yeah, so you have fight or flight, and we talk about that a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
Kill it or run away from it. Well, freeze is the other one. If you're watching the Discovery Channel, and the gazelle's getting chased by the puma or whatever it is, and then the puma's got it, and it's dragged to the floor, it kind of fights for a little second, and then it goes limp. Now, if the puma's going to eat it, then it just wants to check out of its body so it doesn't experience it, yeah? But if the puma maybe buggers off to get his cubs, then the thing can jump up and run away, yeah? So the freeze response is either going to keep us away from suffering our fate or put in a pause until our environment changes.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So then when we're traumatized, it's like the body is stuck in that pause place. Yeah?
Yeah, little Tim's been there a few times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's because, well, if you've almost accepted defeat at some point over something, yeah, psychologically you accept
You're beaten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, a game.
Yeah.
Like if you, as a kid, always lose a game, eventually you're going to learn that you lose games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means that even when that comes back up, you would immediately go to, I lose this. Which is bigger when it's a trauma, yeah.
Yeah.
When you've been defeated enough times, something just goes on in the head and just goes, right, we're done. And it goes into that place. Just a disconnection, almost a depression, yeah? Well, when we want to get you through that, then we want to get you back out of that freeze state.
So with hypnotherapy and the trance states you're doing, you're going back to that state, asking that person to look at it head on and feel it.
Right. So we do it when it's hypnosis, we do it in a stepped away sort of way, right?
Okay.
So if your thing was, I don't know, attacked by a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to help you through it. I wouldn't have you go through it, but I might have you watch it on a screen.
Okay.
Because you would be stepped away from it. Right? Weirdly enough, your brain would learn that although it's happening, it's not happening right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different ways that we would help your brain to see that you obviously survived it.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's not happening right now. I'm forcing literally just to go back through, get reprocessed and get an in the past stamp, like a time stamp on it, yeah, to know, right, that's...
But let me give you mine. Yeah. I'll give you mine. So I've got a bit of a weird relationship with money, right? Since I was little, people say, look, Tim, money doesn't grow on trees. You got to work really hard for your money. And then I've got a relationship with like people that have got, not all of them, but a big part of people that I've met with a lot of money are cunts.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm very scared of earning a certain amount of money that I feel like I'm going to become a cunt.
Okay.
Right? I don't know where it's come from, and I've got this weird thing going on with it. If I came to you and I said, look, Ben, I've got this going on with it, what?
Okay.
I just think it's a real... I mean, it's podcast for me, mate, to be honest. So.
No, but it's perfect, yeah.
Right, okay.
So, as you know, at some point...
Yeah.
You've taken this point of view, one, that money's hard.
My mum was made bankrupt.
Okay.
When I was really little, and I think we moved to about, I think it's something around maybe 12 to 18. We kept moving and moving because my mum really struggled with money. And I'm like, I don't know what it is with it.
Well, it's a mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's a danger.
Yeah.
There was a lack.
Yeah, a scarcity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we'll just go.
Sick, mate.
Yeah,
just
let's
go
go
for
from
it.
the start.
Yeah.
So, your brain prioritizes only two things.
Yeah.
Staying away from danger.
Yeah.
And seeking out pleasure or the ways to even survive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Avoiding one, moving towards another. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you marked a value on money when you were younger, naturally, that said, hey, this is high value. Yeah, you can't count on this being around and you need this. And this is what it looks like when you don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And potentially as well, then a little bit of almost a frustration at people with money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we create like a part of ourselves, which is a network of connections all across your brain, you can drive home and then not remember your drive home, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. But the part of you that drove the car, he's all good. He's good at it, yeah?
Yeah.
You were singing along to Madonna or
Yeah, let's not say Madonna. Let's say something a bit cooler. But yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
but it was Madonna, really. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
it was Taylor Swift, but go on.
I was trying to make it cooler.
I can't.
And you get home and then you go, oh shit,
Yeah.
I don't remember my journey. But you still did it. You know, no dents on the car, no big scratches. You obviously got there in one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Part of you runs a behaviour that other parts of you don't need to be involved in. Yeah? It's just how your brain works. You've got all these different, we call them neural networks. They're just connections of different parts of the brain that fired together so many times. Like, right, I use the steering wheel and I use this thing and I press these pedals and I got to check these places. All them little bits of motor skills and learning and logic and language and everything fired together enough times that driving part of you was created in your brain. Yeah, a network that can just crack on in the background even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of them are quite functional and some of them are more emotive. Yeah, they carry more feeling with them. So if it's around all of the frustrations that we had when we were in lack, yeah, when it's around all of the worry or whatever that subset of emotion is, yeah, that's all built in around that physical memory of how shit it felt to be moving around that many times, to not know where things were coming from, to have all that fear. Yeah, your body experienced it, your brain recorded it, and then if your brain goes forward using that information and it predicts that something else looks like that in the future,
Yeah.
danger. Yeah, so you're encouraged to move away from the danger.
Yeah.
But then somewhere along the line, you also built this other impression, so you're pushing yourself out of the danger. You know, I want to be good, I want to be safe. And that means hard work, that means dedication, that means showing up. But I can't get to this point. Yeah, because if I get to this point, I'll be like them.
Yeah.
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 Now, compared to them, obviously from what you're saying, you're not at that point. But compared to who you were, or the mind that you're coming from, what are you, 80, 90% there?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So he's like locked in a box almost. The brain that created him, that saw all that stuff happening, yeah, that was the brain that version of you had. And it kind of almost gets paused there. That belief, that set of emotions, that the behaviors that go with it, they're formed then. And so unless we go back in and affect it, then that always just immediately fires, yeah? Just around money. We might not have enough. Ooh, but we can't become them. Yeah? And it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're stuck. And we want to make, but we don't want to become that guy.
Yeah, fuck you know. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But he, being old you, he's never met this guy, has he?
No.
What would he think about this guy?
Whew.
He goes, I love the hair, man. Is that his first thought? I love the hair.
I think it'd be more proud of what I've become.
What have you become that he would be proud of?
Just like a really kind person.
Okay. Yeah.
Who always did the right thing by
cool.
people.
So even
always tried to, yeah.
Even at 90%, let's say, towards your aspiration,
Mm-hmm.
you don't look anything like the fear model that you have around it, do you?
No.
You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So just let's check, what are you going to do in that last 10% that's going to change you? Are you going to start like kicking puppies, or like, you know, what's going to change so drastically between who you are now and that last 10% that didn't change in the whole journey?
I don't know, Ben. Nothing, I don't think.
It doesn't really make sense, does it?
No.
Right. So all we want to do is take the contradiction that you've just explained, yeah? What's going to change? Nothing, is it?
Yeah.
We just want to take that contradiction to his old belief. Because he's never seen you with money.
Who is he? When you keep saying he, who
You.
is he?
Younger you.
Little Tim?
Yeah. The you that developed the fear.
Yeah.
The you that stuck.
That I'm frozen in, is what you're saying about that I'm frozen in that state. That neural network
is holding on to that picture. He hasn't updated his picture. And everything that happens, he lays that picture over. It's like a lens that he can look through.
Right.
And go, danger.
Yeah.
And it's him because he was the one that had the emotional experience that connected to the fear of not having enough or going too far. So you're here and now, yeah? Until something goes and triggers him.
Yeah.
And it's you, and you're the one that you like, and you're kind and everything, and it's all of that.
Yeah.
But then something in your environment triggers him.
Yeah.
And he goes, shit, what if we don't have enough? And you go, cancel my plans. I'm working all weekend again.
Yeah, we had a client yesterday cancel like one of their retainers.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, fire.
And so that little guy would have been really engaged at that point, yeah? Danger.
Yeah. Trigger.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's him, which is you.
Yeah.
He holds that fear.
Yeah.
You experience that fear. You try and do everything to avoid becoming either, yeah? Mm. So you're stuck in some limbo state. Yeah, you don't want to move far away from your goal because you don't ever want to obviously go without. But then you don't want to become people like that. And so that earlier part of you, he needs potentially just to know that you're already not like that.
How do I go back and talk to him?
You probably would want a hypnotherapist.
Like it?
Yeah.
You're a hypnotherapist.
Cool. Okay, that's a good start.
Love it. Go on. Yeah.
So, are your feet on the floor right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were, but now you've started noticing them.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, not playing with me yet, Ben. Go on.
Oh no, that's what I do.
I love it.
So now you're paying attention. You're trying to ignore your feet because you're like, no, we're in a meeting. But no, your feet are on the floor and now you can't ignore them.
Yeah.
And everyone that's watching this then is going to start checking where their feet are. Because even now you're checking your feet, you're noticing how you notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be, the temperature, because, you've got no shoes on. He's got some pink slippers on. And, it could be the feeling of them pink slippers on your feet.
Yeah.
Could be the gentle pressure of your feet pushing down against the hardness of the floor. Mm-hmm. And you're checking all of this now and you're noticing it all. But you're noticing it in one part of your foot more than another. And even when I said foot, you had to check which foot that was, yeah? So maybe it's the left, maybe it's the right. But even as you're finding that exact point on that foot, you become very aware of it, yeah? But you forgot that you're sitting in that seat, so now you're just going to notice that you're sitting in the seat. It's weird this, right? Because your attention's moving all over, yeah? Okay. And so then you're just going to notice that you're blinking quite a lot. Oh, and then we're just going to try and stop blinking, but it's difficult because you'd started blinking quite a lot. So now you're very aware of trying not to blink too much. And then you can just start to allow your eyes to become very heavy. As you just notice that even as you try and fight it, you can just start to let your eyes become very heavy, that's right. And you can just let that heaviness start to just slowly pour down through your whole body. So you can just start to relax, to let go of any tension, just to allow yourself to be here and now. Feeling the space around you, the coolness of the air, small sounds that you might hear. And even as you can, just relax now in this moment. I just want you to imagine, and only imagine for me, a mirror. Perhaps one that you know in your life, or just one that you're imagining for the first time now. But even as you can just imagine that mirror, maybe imagining its frame, perhaps it's ornate, maybe it's just plain. Even as you get a sense of your reflection in that mirror, you can just get a sense of it being that version of you that has those fears around money. And even as you can just get a sense of him now, maybe he looks just like you, or perhaps he looks different. Maybe he's wearing the clothes that you would have worn back then. Maybe he had his hair different. Maybe it's the way he stands, or the expression on his face, the look in his eye. But even when you get a sense of him now, when you see him now, with love and with kindness, with generosity, I want you to tell him that everything's going to be okay. And I want you to take him on a tour of your life now. Show him this cool office that you've got, the team you work with, all the jobs that you've done, your brilliant family. Show him how you're kind, how you're a good guy. That's right, that's okay. And show him that you really are. That's right. Show him that you really are someone that he needed back then. And that you're here to take care of him now. That's okay. And even as you just show him all of that right now, that's right. You ask him now if he wants to come into the future with you. Offer to bring him forward into this wonderful future with you now. And see how he would feel about letting go of those old fears and moving into this wonderful future with you. Even as you ask him what he might need, what he might want from you. But when you can see that he's ready to let go of those old beliefs, I want you to imagine him standing differently, smiling, the look in his eye that says that he knows that everything's going to be different now. And when he's ready to just let go of all of those old ways of thinking, I want you to imagine him stepping out of the mirror and stepping through into you now. And even as he steps into you now, I want you to notice how you notice that change. How it feels in your body to know that it's okay now. And I want you just to allow yourself to drift forward a day, a week, a month, even a year from now. Even to you seeing yourself hitting those goals and still being someone that you like. Still being a version of you that you enjoy seeing in the mirror. See all of the ways that you'll be behaving. Get a sense of how amazing it feels to be able to just be proud of yourself. To just recognize that you've done this the right way through hard work. See as the months turn into years and you see yourself moving forward. You see yourself far exceeding your old goals, but still in a way that you can trust that you're the version of you that you want to be. And as you look at yourself from that point, as you look back along that timeline to this moment, get a sense that this is the moment when everything changed. That this is the moment where you could start to see it very, very differently. To get hold of those resources that you have, to trust in yourself, to know that you'd never give up. And as you feel that confidence, as you can start to feel safe deep, deep within you, as you can feel that relaxation coming back through. Because even as you look forward into the future, you can truly start to see that wonderful, wonderful future waiting for you. and you become more and more excited because you know that you're someone that you like being. And you know that nothing could change that. You get a sense that money is just a tool. And as you push forward, you simply use that tool to your ends. You enjoy doing that. It becomes natural. You can trust in yourself. And even as you remember, you can trust in yourself. You can trust in your actions. And only as you can see yourself in that future, with that new way of feeling about things, even as you can get a sense of how amazing it's going to feel, as your whole body can become electrified and energized by knowing that you're moving towards that most amazing goal. So you just start to notice your feet are on the floor, feeling that cushion of comfort supporting you, feeling the room around you, feeling wide awake and wonderful. In your own time, just bring your awareness back to the room.
Fucking hell, mate, that was fucking mental. Oh my God! Mate, grateful for that, what you
Such
just
a
given
pleasure.
me. Beautiful.
We generally space this out over a little bit longer, yeah?
I was looking through a gap in a door and I could see my younger self looking at himself in the mirror, and he turned and came over to me, opened the door, and I picked him up and took him to another mirror that we both looked into, and then I set him down and let him go.
How did that feel? How did that feel for him?
Yeah, I'll be honest with him. I was just like, I don't even know how you just did that, because I don't know. I just, like, you've made me feel so safe, Ben. That
But
I
you
would just,
did that, didn't you?
yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those things. You did all of that.
Yeah.
If I guide
But I
you
allowed
up
it, yeah, I don't know, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I'm like, I've only just fucking met you, and then you just asked me to shut my eyes, and I'm just letting my eyes just
I
went.
ask a lot of people to shut their eyes.
Yeah, I get it, it's part of the,
but
part of the experience.
it's a really weird thing, like, yeah, you met me half an hour ago, can you shut your eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably ask, like, above average, you know, maybe not compared to, like, a optometrist or something, but yeah, lots of, will you shut your eyes?
Yeah.
But all we're doing is we're just taking out the most visual part of your experience, yeah? So that you can start to use your thoughts to direct your mind rather than using your eyes to direct your mind, yeah? And once we do that, this is what I was saying before, it's all just a focus game, yeah? That's all it is helping you to focus.
Yeah.
But then to have the most productive experience with that focus, yeah? And so whilst all of the other parts of your brain aren't firing with those other responses, you can just focus on that experience. And that can be very real in that moment, can't it? Yeah?
Yeah, very real.
Right? So your brain's just had that experience, which links us back. Yeah, because you just went into that old network of your mind. Yeah,
it was like I was voyeur. I could see me. I was looking through a doorway, just a gap that will open, and I could see him look at himself, his reflection in the mirror. Like it. I'm not saying he was frozen in time, but there was a point there where I was like, I feel like it's very familiar.
Right, and that's maybe parts of a memory that had fired at that point. What we have to remember is it's all metaphor, yeah?
Yeah.
So all we care about is how it changes your experience now. Yeah? Where we have to go and how we go about getting you to have an experience in this moment that allows you to see it differently or respond to it differently. Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of that's my problem. Yeah. As my kid would say, that's a you problem. So it's my problem to work out how to direct you through that metaphor, but then you're doing it. Yeah? And exactly how you do it. I had this guy once, and he said to me, you know when you led me through that red door? I said, well, I led you through a door. He went, no, you said a red door. I'm like, no, I did not say a red door. And he's like, no, you definitely said a red door. He's like, right, that's what you heard, yeah? That's what your mind directed you to, a red door. And so you just took it on it was a red door. I wouldn't want to tell you what colour the door is. You might hate red doors. Yeah? I give you the least.
Yeah.
And your brain's just so wonderful, yeah? It just fills in all the gaps. So why it's a red door or why I'm looking through the crack.
Yeah, yeah.
Your brain has that metaphor in it.
Yeah.
But your experience now is working off of all your previous experiences. When we can create powerful enough experiences, even just like that, then we can start to change what connects to what, how it connects, how it fires. And well, that's what I do all day. And ask people to shut their eyes.
I'm very grateful to you, mate, for that experience.
Such a pleasure.
Beautiful,
honestly.
beautiful. Yeah, I'd really like to sit and sort of like have a look at that, I think.
Yeah.
Really interesting, mate, really interesting.
I'm literally at the other end of the road, basically, aren't I?
Right, okay.
You know, I'm just in Horwich.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% do that way.
Yeah, well, I owe you a brew now, so yeah, come in.
You're nothing, mate.
Yeah, we'll have a brew and we'll actually do it.
Yeah.
Maybe in the full length of time we're meant to, rather than. I don't think I've ever led someone through it on camera.
You just got to feel stuff, haven't you? And it felt right. I was doing that for some strange reason. It's Betty next.
Yeah, Betty's not going to be... I'm not making Betty cry. No, she seemed too fun, too nice for that. I've seen you, I thought, I'm going to make him cry today.
I'm all right with crying,
Yeah.
but like I wasn't expecting to do it now. I just
No.
that thing when you actually look at yourself when you're younger. You know, it was looking in the mirror, I was looking through the gap, and then he came over to the door and opened the door. It was like, all right, mate.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it we feel very in touch, don't we?
I could see it was like old wooded. I think it was one of the houses that my mum moved into when she became bankrupt, as bonkers as it sounds. And it was really 80s old wardrobe, little thin mirror, and he was looking in it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And did he like your house?
It was... I opened the door and I picked him up and I took him to my house in the mirror.
Yeah.
And I showed him and showed the reflection of who I am now, in a way. And then I set him down, and then he could go exploring. But that was my main thing.
And that gives him faith, yeah, that he doesn't have to worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do.
My belly's swollen. I feel like there were trauma there in my stomach.
Yeah.
And it swelled up.
Okay.
At the same time, my nervous system, I don't know.
Absolutely, right? Because your whole body's been holding something in a certain way. Like, you know, like there's tension.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we've done this, things pop up in our dreams after. That's pretty normal, okay? I'm also just going to say, I'd always suggest that people do this with somebody, yeah?
Yeah.
That wasn't just like a how-do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been like a lens that we could look through everything through, yeah?
Yeah.
When that lens changes, often everything that was used with that as its foundation, that can all start to slip.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we work, we test, we work. So if that's the work, the test is you going and having the experience. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, you take your car in saying it's got a rattle. He goes, right, I done this, that, and the other. Go drive it. Go see if you can hear the rattle. If it's the same rattle, did the rattle change? Did the rattle move?
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll catch up and we'll look at what else needs to be adjusted to allow that to run smoothly. And yeah, that's what we do.
Beautiful work, mate.
Wow.
Beautiful.
It's quite good fun, really, isn't it?
Kind of.
Yeah. Oh, I promise you from this point of view it is, yeah.
From your point of view, yeah, but like sitting with that and
yeah.
like facing yourself where you're like, sort of like, not locked in a room, but like trapped in a room. I felt like I'm trapped in the room and I'm looking at myself trapped in that room and I've not been able to escape that room.
Right, and so
I think
now you've just given him a route out, haven't you? Yeah. And that, even going and touching on those, because this is it, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking about something that is a bit stuck, everything that's like the floodgate for, that's open, yeah? Mm-hmm. So when you're helping people with traumas, especially deep traumas, often when they are helped through that freeze state, often they will get very angry or have the desire to get away. It's like the body finishing off that cycle. You know, like the gazelle would have jumped up and buggered off.
Yeah. Body's comped it, yeah.
Right, and when it got round into like the safety, it had shaken it all out of its nervous system, and then it just crack on, eating the grass or whatever. So often once we've actually moved something, then it can open a little floodgate,
Yeah.
Because even as you're reconciling back to, wow, I did feel like that. Yeah. So this is where also I'm always saying to people, my number's always available and my phone's always on, because once we've done something like that, we look at how you're doing. We don't presume that's it, but then we go forward and we've been chatting we met like an hour ago, and so it's kind of mad, and generally I work with about 90 minutes. So generally it would be, we talk quite specifically about what's going on. We build up more of that picture of your reality now, and then we do the work to bring all that together. But within 90 minutes, generally, we're looking at having made some significant change, and then catching up, looking at it, calibrating from there, seeing what else needs to be changed. Often 4 to 6 sessions, people will be quite transformed from where they were. So, from my point of view, it's very good fun. It's serious, but you know what? It doesn't matter how serious something is.
It's what we said before, but I think life's too serious. And look, listen, this is serious work, but I think if you take it too seriously, you don't have a bit of fun and you be able to cry, you be able to laugh, you be able to, it's just like, it's got to be on it.
Well, that rapport that we can have, which means in half an hour you're going, okay, I'll shut my eyes.
I feel safe. Yeah.
If I
know Ben's got me.
Right? Yeah. And you don't want me to be too serious. Yeah? If I was in a suit, it would be a little bit clinical maybe. Yeah. I put trousers on today, but just for you.
Appreciate it.
Usually it's just
really
shorts.
But go on.
No, I thought, big boy pants for today.
Can't fucking see them.
But we don't want to have it too serious. We don't want to have it painful. Yeah, we can still have smiles on our faces, have a bit of a laugh whilst working through something serious. Yeah. And then, we can make these transformative changes, and it's pretty cool,
Yeah, there's something that I got, I was going to sound random but from the sort of Harry Potter books and the film, where they do an enchantment called, is it Ridiculous?
I really don't know.
Right, okay, so they got one where they face the most feared thing. Okay. And it comes out, and whatever, it could be a snake, it could be whatever, and they do a enchantment called Ridiculous. And they make it that ridiculous.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And fun that you're able to release it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're talking about, and I really like that.
So we had the Horwich Festival the other week, 2 weeks ago, I don't know. Right. And one of the people that put that on, she said to me about she had a fear of spiders. And if you tell me about something, I'm like, have we got 5 minutes?
Right.
Yeah, let's do something. And I was guiding her through a room with a spider, and we were doing it to mess with it. But over time, that spider became a cartoon, and then the cartoon spider had like boots on its feet.
Yeah. It's the same, exact same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And all you're doing is, when you're opening up that file in the brain of where the monster lives, you're making the monster smaller or more ridiculous, and until, well, again, because all that information doesn't exist in the original model up there,
Yeah.
So as soon as we put something in that doesn't belong, like, if your big giant snake had a bow around its neck, your brain would just have to reprocess it, because that doesn't belong in the old file. Yeah. Even we can do that with, if you've got a phobia or a fear, even having you describe slower and slower in more and more detail how you do your fear. Often, you can't be scared slowly. Fear kind of just turns on, yeah? So if I have you describe it to me in like pedantic, minuscule steps, and the brain's like having to really critique it and look at it, it's like, right, so what do you do between that and that? And people are like, well, no, that happens and I'm scared. No, but what do you do exactly? Right. Oh, well, I probably tense up. Oh, well, I probably do this. Oh, well, I think I actually do that. And you make it so small that the brain's doing something that it's not done in a long time. Like when we took on my foster daughter, I needed to teach her to tie her shoelaces. And so you can tie your shoelaces, I presume. And I can. But I could not show a 7-year-old, because I do my shoelaces proper quick, yeah? You know how to do them. You just go, boom. Yeah? But I'm having to break this whole thing down into step by step. And she's looking at me like, buddy, are you sure you know how to do this? I'm like, right, I'll make this loop. And I'm like, what the hell do I do next?
Bunny ear.
Right? And then you're wrapping them around, and she's looking, and this thing that I've tied by the end is like an ugly bastard of a shoe tying experiment. And it's like, oh yeah, because I've just fired the behavior. I've not examined it. Yeah. And so once I've illuminated it, it's really difficult just to do it. And so even stuff like that, breaking little loops we go into, is always forcing the brain to review it.
Look at it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the old Max Planck quote, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Well, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really like that.
I like that one. And that's all we're doing. Just in elaborate ways.
How can people get in touch with you, Ben? If people want you, well, they will.
Yeah.
Do they want you? They need you, right?
I just want to be wanted. I just want to be wanted. So Horwich Hypnotherapy is Instagram.
Yeah.
And www.horwichhypnotherapy.com.
Yeah.
He thinks. That's me. But then as well, Changeworks.
Yeah.
So the term hypnotherapist or hypnotist kind of freaks people out a little bit. And I wanted to go and cast my net as wide as I could and help businesses and help anyone really. So Changeworks is where I go and do workshops for different organizations, how to manage their mental health, how stress works. Basically a bit like what we've been doing, but it's just like a huge mass of techniques that we can use either individually just to manage our mental health, or as like a system to do more like what we've just been doing there, but ourselves in a structured way. And that's, what is that? That's www.change-works.co.uk. Or you can just look for the really shiny head.
And the big beard.
Yeah. And we can look at doing stuff. I'll try not to make them cry.
You've got to make them cry.
I promise nothing. There's a box of tissues in my office.
Everybody needs to cry. That's how you release it, innit?
Yeah. But it's been awesome talking to you, dude.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're branding with the best.